Would you fly on in for a September 11 deal? What about some cereal to cope with the Boston Marathon bombing? These are the most offensive ad campaigns ever. In 2011, Mexican restaurant Hacienda rented this specific billboard on which they'd referenced the Jonestown Massacre, where cult leader Jim Jones had killed his entire following by spiking their Kool-Aid with poison. So what did the restaurant's billboard say? We're like a cult with better Kool-Aid, and their drinks were apparently to die for. Hacienda's VP of Sales and Marketing explained, "Our role is not to be controversial or even edgy. We want to be noticed, and there's a difference.
I think that's funny. I do. I think this one's funny. Because, like, the difference in my mind is, like, with September 11th, the people that worked in the World Trade Center, and I'm not even saying you can't make jokes about that. You make jokes about whatever you want. But, like, especially with this, like, if you're in a cult, you're an idiot. Like, you're just a fucking idiot. What are you doing being in a cult? Like, yeah, you did this to yourself.
Need to advertise with care, and that's why we're
also, how can they get offended? They're dead.
This ad. We made a mistake and don't want to have a negative image in the community, yet this wouldn't be their last controversial billboard.
Yeah, of course.
5 years later, in 2016, the restaurant made another reading,
"The best Mexican food this side of the wall,"
which quickly went viral on Reddit, sparking outrage. Really disappointed, Hacienda continues to push past what is acceptable for advertising.
Acceptable by who? Who decided that you decide what's acceptable? This is funny. Stop crying.
Not a fan of most of their billboards, but this is just too much. Hashtag take it down. Others showed their support in comments such as this one. Yet unlike their previous billboard, Hacienda says it has no plans to apologize for or remove the ads.
Yeah, because you did nothing wrong. That shit's fucking hilarious.
Their vice president explained,
"We don't intend to upset anybody, but we do use humor."
And Lee's Discount Liquor applied a similar strategy. Alcohol, it's cheaper than therapy. If alcohol is not the answer, change the question. You look like I need a drink, and perhaps so did the people who tried to get the billboards banned. Take down billboards stating Lee's Liquor is cheaper than therapy. The owners of—
What is this gonna upset you? Oh, the owners failed to remember the implications of— oh my—
Lee's Liquor has failed to remember the implications of alcohol regarding DUIs, broken families, and when people commit manslaughter. Lee's Liquor owners think this is funny. Take this billboard down.
Yeah, it is funny. Shut up. Stop crying. That's nice. Yeah, and here's the way I look at it, right? Is that there are some times where there are advertisements that are done in poor taste. And I'm sure that there are some of them. But, like, just because somebody's mad about something or offended doesn't mean that, like, they're right. Like, there's somebody that gets offended about everything. Who cares?
Various comments agreed, such as, "This is irresponsible advertising. You can sell alcohol without crossing this boundary," whereas the humor was liked by others. "Hey dude, get a life. It's a very funny sign. I wish we had more signs in Vegas like this. If you don't like the billboard, go back to Utah."
Yeah, get the hell out of here.
Lee's Discount Liquor ran their own billboard controversy poll, which found that 77.2% of people called the ad clever and not offensive, yet this didn't
Exactly. You could never, like, most normal people think this shit's funny. The only people who think it's a problem are freaks. And, like, people that professionally have problems. Wow, a woman who writes articles for a living wrote an article about something that she's mad about. What a fucking surprise.
A mandate to take the billboard down. Even worse was a business card shared to Reddit reading, "Are you an alcoholic? We can help," although they weren't offering counseling, but rather an alcohol delivery service.
Yeah, I can see, like, this one's like this one's definitely worse, right?
In all seriousness, I assume it's just a bad translation and meant, "Do you enjoy alcohol? We can help," but yeah, really should have run that by a native speaker first.
Or what? This is the thing that I don't see people understand. Or what? What, there's gonna be like 5 people that get mad?
Very same year, British supermarket Tesco found themselves in the infamous horse meat scandal, where one of their burgers was found containing 29% horse meat. Well, only 2 days after the scandal broke, Tesco tweeted, "It's sleepy time, so we're off to hit the hay." See you at 8 AM for more Tesco tweets, and the replies weren't too pretty.
I think this is fucking funny. This is good. This is, yeah, there it is.
Hitting the hay? Well, I suppose the poor horses don't need it anymore. Maybe hitting the hay wasn't the best choice of words right now. Plenty of room on the hay now that we've eaten all the horses. Tesco responded by tweeting, "I'm terribly sorry. That tweet was scheduled before we knew of the current situation. We never intend to make light of it, and in case..."
See, like, this is the problem, is that there are all these over-serious, super sensitive complainers on the internet, and these companies will bow down to them. Why are you doing this? Like, every other normal person is just laughing and thinking this is funny. Then there's a handful of people that are perpetually offended by everything that get mad about it, and they ruin it for everyone. Why are we doing this? What, like, who does this help? Terminally online, yes, because they get sued. Sued by what?
In case this wasn't bad enough, Tesco then had to scrap a segment of its latest advert as it was due to include images of a horse.
To be fair, I do think that, like, it makes sense. Like, in this case, they probably would remove it because they don't want to draw attention to, like, the controversy. But yeah. They're not
apparently said to be
like, they're not really removing it because people were mad. They're removing it because they just don't want to talk about the controversy.
Used in a humorous context, but while Tesco was simply a victim of bad timing, recipe website Epicurious was a victim of bad thinking, because after the Boston Marathon bombing, they'd post 2 insane tweets. In honor of Boston and New England, may we suggest whole grain cranberry
What's wrong with
scones. Boston, our hearts are with you. Here's a bowl of breakfast energy we could all use to start today.
Yeah, that's bad.
Tweets were quickly shared to a media training website which wrote, "Get your legs blown off by a terrorist? Try these scones. Lose a cherished friend? Maybe this bowl of breakfast energy can help," which then turned into articles by Mashed and Business Insider.
But the reason why it's bad, it's not funny, it's just stupid.
Epicurious was labeled by the public morons, idiots, dickheads, and pathetic. The company responded with a copy and paste apology, leading to more criticism reading, "A repeatedly tweeted template apology isn't genuine. It's a form letter. The steady stream of identical tweets does nothing to engage with the audience and express human remorse."
I don't think that the company needs to do that. They deleted. Did they delete it? Okay, then they deleted it. Like, why do you need an apology from a company? You think the company really cares about this? This is like, again, like, it's like a consumer behavior. Like, oh, I want the company to apologize to me and tell me that they know that they hurt my feelings. What are you doing? Do you think they really care? They're just apologizing you so you give them more money. Like, they don't give a shit. Yeah, they want to figure. It's just such a weird, like, it's all so fake, isn't it? Like, I think this is just, it's so fake. It's crazy.
But were Epicurious's tweets as bad as Kenneth Cole's? Millions are in uproar in Cairo. Rumor is they heard our new spring collection is now available online, although the uproar had actually come from protests in Egypt, where 846 people were killed. Kenneth Cole quickly apologized before making the same mistake only 2 years later. In response to the Syrian civil war, he'd tweet, "Boots on the ground or not, let's not forget about sandals, pumps, and loafers," sneakily
yeah, this is really, it's not a, yeah, it's just, like, it's just not funny, it's just bad, you know?
Advertising his new line of shoes. On a public billboard, Kenneth mocked the Hudson River crash landing, but at least he had the decency to avoid September 11, unlike this TV commercial by the Worldwide Nature Fund. It began by explaining in 2001, one of the worst tragedies in the history of humanity killed 2,000...
Let me guess, they're probably going to compare September 11th to, like, animals getting killed?
819 people, before showing a bunch of other planes to articulate that in 2005 the tsunami killed 280,000 people. That's 100 times more deaths.
I guess we should bomb the ocean.
The message of the ad was that our planet is brutally powerful, yet it felt like they were minimizing the severity of 9/11 to highlight a natural disaster that couldn't have been avoided. Not only is the message offensive, but it's scientifically flawed. All the carbon reductions and recycling in the world won't prevent tsunamis. Advertising double fail.
I think that part of it is true, but I do think that, like, also, there's a degree of intellectual dishonesty that goes into getting mad about that. That they probably weren't saying that September 11th wasn't a big deal. They were just trying to create a scope or a frame of reference for how bad the tsunamis were. So, like, I think, again, like, it's a problem where people like to get mad about things recreationally, but they never really think about, like, that people get mad about stuff and like they interpret it one way and then they automatically assume that that's how you meant it. You can't compare the two? I mean, one of them killed that many people, the other one killed the other amount of people. It's just poor taste in comparison, I guess. Yeah. It's like, yeah, like if I saw this, I'd be like, yeah, I probably shouldn't do this, right? But I think that people that are getting mad about it are still, they're like willfully assuming that they were doing it in order to minimize September 11th, right? It's like, I can understand like, oh yeah, this is kind of weird, but like actually getting mad about it, that's a bit much.
The commercial was so offensive that WWF tried to claim it did not authorize its production or publication, yet there was another 9/11 ad that was somehow even worse. It began to circulate in September 23rd.
No way. No way. No way they're selling 2 subs for $9, bro. This must have been a long time ago. This must have been a really long time ago.
And showed a man flying toward 2 foot-long subs, which like you could buy for a price of $9.11. The ad was captioned with 2 pieces of text. Fly on in for September 11th, and you will never forget this deal. But was the ad actually legitimate?
Probably fake.
Well, no.
Yeah,
it was the work of satirical news site The Onion, which wrote from structural steel melt on Tower 7 grain bread to the Twin Towers cold cut combo with ground zero carb vinaigrette on Let's Whole Wheat Roll. We've got something for everybody this September 11. Despite clearly being a joke, a man named Travis tried to cash in on the deal.
Oh man, this is fucking good. He's here, he's ready.
The ad to bring to his local Subway, which they unbelievably accepted.
What?
Coupon or no? It's a good coupon? That's good? Okay.
He and his friend were totally baffled.
Dude, I can't believe they did that.
Even showing their receipt to prove they hadn't lied.
This is good. Oh, this is good.
If the coupon itself wasn't hilarious enough, the fact that Subway accepted it as a legitimate coupon had me rolling on the floor. Subway, however, wasn't impressed. Like everyone, we are deeply offended by the fake story and ad created by The Onion. The story received coverage in a Sydney Morning Herald article.
Which, by the way, look at this ratio. Less than 1,000 likes with almost 800 retweets. That's because most people thought this shit was funny. Like everyone, no, not like everyone. Most people didn't think this was offensive. They thought it was funny.
The story received coverage in a Sydney
Yeah, I know one guy who wasn't offended. Trevor wasn't offended after he got his 2 subs for $9.
Herald article, which highlighted another 9/11 deal that was instead completely genuine. The now closed Tumbledown Trails Golf Club in Wisconsin posted this newspaper ad reading 12th anniversary of 9/11. To commemorate this, we are offering 9 holes with cart for only $9.11 per person, or 18 holes with cart for only $19.11.
Okay.
The owner of the course said the golf club began the promotion 2 years ago on the 10th anniversary of the attacks, and until now it had been warmly received as a way to ensure people never forgot the tragedy. He'd therefore add, we're a little hurt by the fact that people are putting such a negative context on this.
Yeah, see, like, that's the problem this is what I was talking about before. It's like the willful dishonesty, where like, people don't even really care whether they were doing it for a good or a bad reason. They're just mad, and then they don't, like, they're not going to the golf course. Apparently the customers didn't give a shit. These are people who probably don't even live anywhere near the golf course that are malding over it and want the world to change whenever it's not even going to affect them at all. It's the era of criticism and not critical thinking. Yeah, they just want to push narrative. Yeah, it's all they're trying to do is get mad about something. This is the recreational, like, getting offended group on Twitter. This is so common. It's exhausting to deal with these people. Because they'll act like, they'll interpret what you do in the worst possible way, and then they'll act like that's how you meant it, and then they'll treat you as if that's what you did. That's the reason why it's bad. It's so fucking dishonest.
thought people would appreciate it. It seemed the owner at least had some good intentions,
Yeah.
although so did these 3 companies
Ooh.
when they used hashtags incredibly wrong. Sweets company Entenmann's wrote, "Who's not guilty about eating all the tasty treats they want without realizing not guilty was trending due to Casey Anthony's trial for the murder of her baby."
Oh, yeah, she killed her kid,
respond by
yeah.
tweeting, "Sorry everyone, we weren't trying to reference the trial in our tweet. We should have checked the trending hashtag first." Fashion brand celeb
Okay.
Boutique wrote, "Hashtag Aurora is trending. Clearly about our
the Aurora nightclub shooting where all the gay people got killed.
Kim K inspired Aurora dress, although this wasn't exactly true.
Yeah.
The hashtag was trending due to the Batman movie theater shooting,
Oh,
which
was that-
killed 12
oh, that was
people
Pulse
in Aurora,
nightclub.
Colorado.
Right. Yeah,
We are
okay.
incredibly sorry for
Different
our
one.
tweet about
Excuse me.
Aurora. Our PR is not US based and did not check the reason for the trend. At that time, our social media was totally unaware of the situation and simply thought it was another trending topic. We have removed the very insensitive tweet and will of course take more care in the future to look into what we say in our tweets." Then there was
Yeah, sure, I think that's fine.
D. Giorno's Pizza who wrote, "Hashtag why I stayed, you had pizza."
Wasn't why I stayed a hashtag for why women stayed in abusive relationships?
Which was a hashtag started by women explaining why they stayed in abusive relationships.
Yeah, I remember that.
Unsurprisingly, the company then tweeted a million apologies. Did not read what the hashtag was about before posting.
Well,
and-
hey, I mean, this actually makes brands more relatable. So they follow an internet trend and they try to act like they're part of it without even understanding it. Yeah, that's what most people do. Wow, they're just like me.
And to their credit, they spent the entire day responding to every complaint authentically. All social
What
media
a waste of time. You should never do that. You should never, like, if people won't accept an apology, you're not going to convince them that like you're sorry. Like, it's not going to happen.
experts, please take a lesson
It's a huge-
from
yeah, it's a huge
DiGiorno
waste of
Pizza.
time.
You step in it, you give real apologies and not excuses. Good job.
Yeah,
However,
you just fucked up. There it is, right? It's like, oops. Yeah, I didn't mean to do that.
Home Depot never got the memo, as they do the exact opposite. After posting a tweet which produced the article, Home Depot apologizes for racist game day tweet, terminates agency responsible.
What's
So
racist
what
about
did
it?
the tweet say? Which drummer is not like the others, attaching a photo that showed black people next to a monkey? You could
And people thought this was that black people were monkeys? Like, you really think that's what they're trying to do? Like,
argue it wasn't that bad given it said
Yeah.
which drummer is not like the others, although
Yeah.
it's hard to know what Nivea was thinking when headlining an ad with the words "white is purity." The campaign was so wild people didn't believe it was real, although others tried to argue that the world was overreacting. Is the US so obsessed with race now that the first thing Americans think when they read white isn't the color but race? People, stop seeing everything with identity politics tinted glasses.
yeah, this is very true.
Then there was this ad by Bic Pens reading, "Look like a girl, act like a lady, think like a man, work like a boss," which was hilariously designed to celebrate Women's Day.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
People didn't appreciate it.
Man.
If it's quite alright with you, Bic, I'll look like a woman, act like a woman, think like a woman, and work like a woman, and you can F right off like an idiot. To
Wow.
make matters worse, Bic had launched the Bic for Her pen range 3 years prior, which had already been slammed as sexist.
They're just like regular pens, except they're pink, so they cost twice as much. That is absolutely true as well.
Well, at last, pens for us ladies to use. Now all we need is For Her paper, and I can finally learn to write. I was so disappointed to find that only 1/5 of the pens I received were pink. Or maybe more, I can't do maths. These pens fit perfect in my hands, but hubby feels they are unnecessary since he writes all the checks. I'd explain more, but I have to go make him a sandwich.
Oh my god.
Would you?
Some of these are funny. Like this one is funny. Like selling the fact that it's the Women's Day pink pens and only like 20% of them are actually pink. That one's fucking funny. I'm sorry. It shouldn't be funny, but it's supposed to be. Or sorry, it shouldn't be funny, but it is. It's not supposed to be. Isn't 90% of advertising made for women because they are more likely buy it? I have no idea. I think it depends on what the product is, really, more than anything. I'll link you guys the video. I feel like, again, a lot of these advertisements are not bad at all. I don't think there's anything really wrong with them. Like, I can see why, like, you know, maybe you shouldn't have done it at this time. Like, some of them are definitely bad, right? I think the ones that are bad, the ones that I don't like, are the ones that feel, what do you call it? They feel like they're taking advantage of the situation to sell a product. I think that's the bad ones. Whenever you're just making a joke about it, yeah, they're like kind of predatory. Yeah, exactly. Malicious, yeah, like they're trying to take advantage of a situation or like use it as a marketing tool or something like this. But like if it's something that's funny or clever, then I think it transcends that. But usually with a lot of these jokes, it's usually just, you know, hey, do you remember this mass shooting? Okay, well, come in and buy our shoes. It's not a very good sales pitch. You know what I mean?